It's the Behind the Shade show.
What are then some of the consequences of not healing generational trauma?
You are keep passing on. So you are, first of all, you are struggling. You are not living your life to the fullest. Even if, let's say, you have an amazing job, you find yourself every month that you are living to paycheck. And you are standing there that why am I spending on some stuff that I don't even need? It's maybe because a great grandfather gambled the family money away, or somebody showed you like generations back that actually having money is dangerous because somebody was killed because of money. And then it's like you're afraid to have your subconscious wants to keep you in the safe place. But it's like, oh, I want to have the money, but actually I might die if I have the money. Or maybe relatives would ask me money because that what happened generations back. So it's just like you have this like imbalance in you. So you are not living your life as the fullest and you are struggling, or you are not finding the relationship, or you don't have kids, but you want to have kids. B, if you have kids, you are passing this trauma on to other generations.
If that when that does happen, is there a possibility that the trauma, the longer it goes on in that family, the more severe the consequences of it?
Good question. I'm not sure. It's what I see in our lives that that your life or the universe is trying to give you a little sign, but the sign is bigger and bigger. I call it is like sometimes universe give you just a little flicker and then a slap, and then there is a big kick into your rear end and you get into like a huge accident. So something big is usually like, okay, life has been trying to tell me something, but I'm suppressing the emotions. Or like, for example, you don't like your job, but you cannot leave because I have bills to pay. You probably will twist your ankle because actually ankle is stepping forward. And when your mind and your heart is not in alignment, that's when a lot of ankle issues are happening. So stuff like this can be that when something big is happening, there were probably signs, but you suppress them.
That example that you gave, that's one I like to use when it's to health, right? Like your body will whisper and then it'll say, hey, pay attention. And then it will shout. By the time it
Shout,
gets to the
yes.
shout, everything after that, unfortunately, a lot of times you can't come back from. That's why I was
Hmm.
asking, because there's a number of people that I know that when they share their story of some of the struggles that they have, and then when they say that, well, my parents went through this, and they're like, oh yeah, you know what, my great grandparents went through this.
Hmm.
But when they tell it, their experience is so much more worse than let's say two, three generations before. So for example, it could be that their great grandparents always had to work because they were bad with money and they're bad with handling personal relationships. So they just drowned themselves in work. So the worst thing that happened to them was instead of living the 80, 85 years that a lot of men live, they live, let's say 75. But their life was pretty decent up until the point where they're about to
Yeah.
pass away. Now, 4 generations later, the person I was speaking to, they would lose feelings in their hands. They would have days where they can't walk because their legs don't use. They've had slurred speech, so their body is reacting so much more severely to this trauma that goes back, in this example, who knows how long, but we know there's 4 generations of it. So that's why I always wonder because, like your body, the longer you ignore it, the worse potentially it can be. What do you see are some of the obstacles that maybe people face along their journey to healing the trauma?
So going back to the former generations and the severity, I was just recently listening a very good summary that what each generations, the boomers, the X, the Y, and the Gen Z people need to face with. And if you are thinking about the Maslow pyramid of like hierarchy of needs, just we are the generation that have the power, the capacity to actually start to break those trauma. Right now, we are not in a war. It's not like supply chain issues. COVID is a different story, but it's like there are food on your shelf or in your pantry and on your table. You have shoes on your feet and you have plenty to buy. So it's like you have finally a little bit of headspace that actually to break that trauma. Because our former generations, my mom, sometimes I chat with her about these kind of things, and it's like, I didn't know. I was like, first of all, we just came out like the Berlin Wall went down when I was 5 years old. So we came out from a communist country model, tried to join and be more Western. It's like they had no clue. The whole country was in shambles. They didn't know the financial, how to build a financial system based what already the West had or the US had. And mom is like, I was struggling. I had your dad, but he didn't help. So when my mom would have the headspace with raising two children, plus a full-time job, plus an alcoholic dad, was like, sit down and meditate. So that's why I am the cycle breaker in this family because I have the headspace and I said that, okay, I recognize this and I will start to break this for my daughter and for the future generations.